Hi everybody! I'm excited to share a new video with you. Today we're going to be talking about texture. So I'm going to share two videos with you because in this first one we're going to talk a little bit about texture, and in the second one I'm going to show you how to make your very own texture rubbings, which can be used in all sorts of projects that you might want to do. And they're also just really fun to try out. So let's get started. So before we begin, let's remind ourselves about the elements of art. The elements of art are the ingredients of art. They're all of the things that we can mix together in our art, just like a salad in a bowl, to make our artwork. So today we're going to be focusing on the element of texture. Texture is the things, how we feel. Some things are smooth and hard. Some are bumpy, like a Lego piece. Some are rough. Some are soft, like this fuzzy shoe. Things that texture is how we feel things in our lives. And in art, we can't really feel what we're looking at usually. So we have different ways of trying to create the look of texture and how we talk about texture. So I'm going to show you. So I want to point out two main ideas of texture that we're going to talk about today. So the first is actual texture, the things that you can really feel. Like if I felt this sculpture, this teacup by Murray Oppenheim, it would feel soft, unlike a regular teacup, which would be hard and smooth. This particular teacup is so surprising because she played around with her texture in a way that was, pretty shocking. I hope to never drink from a teacup like that, but if I could feel it, it would feel almost like this food. It's really soft and fuzzy, and I would be able to feel those textures on my fingers. And this owl over here by Irving Harper, made out of paper, if I felt that, it would feel almost like this branch. It's pretty rough and bumpy, and it would probably be really interesting on my fingers if I could spread my fingers on that owl. So those are things that I can actually feel on my fingers. If I could feel those things, I would get different sensations on my fingers. But a lot of times in our art, we don't really get to go up and touch them, right? We can't really feel them. So the artist has to work really hard to make things look like they have texture so that way our eyes get the sensation, right? So that way when we look at them, we get the illusion of texture, even if we can't go up and touch them. So Vincent van Gogh was a master of texture. And if you actually had permission to touch his paintings, you would feel a little bit bumpy because he used so much paint. But just even with our eyes as we look at it, if we open our eyes really big, it's hard, always when you can't look at these things right up close, but just looking at his painting, his brush strokes, the way he made thick lines and you see the swirls, it creates the sense that you could touch it even just by looking with your eyes. It gives the idea, the illusion, or the implied texture that there's really, a bunch of leaves there and they're blowing. And you almost want to be able to go up and touch that sky because it looks so rich and full of texture. And so some artists, I'm going to move myself so you can see her name. Some artists are fantastic, and really impressive at the illusion of texture, the implied texture. So this artist, Leontine van Villiers, I don't know for sure that I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She, as you can see here, she's still in the process of drawing this dog, but it looks so real, right? It looks like you could go up and touch that dog and you'd be able to feel the soft fur, and you'd be able to see, be able to touch on your fingers each little hair, and it gives you a real sense of what you're looking at. And I'm actually going to share, if you'd like, a video of her creating one of her animal drawings because she is such, with so much fine detail and so many lines, all of those ingredients, the elements of art that she comes together to create the illusion of texture. So personally, I could never do that. But I have a project for you today that I want to talk about that helps us in our art making to create the illusion of texture, even not with all of those fine details like she does here in the dog. And also just a really fun way to create, like, even if it's just a smooth piece of paper, you can start to look like there's patterns and designs that create the illusion of texture. So I'm going to show you in the next video how to create texture rubbings that take the real textures from the world around us and create the look of a texture on a piece of paper. So before we go to that next video, I'm just going to show you what you're going to need for that. A few simple everyday items. Crayons. Crayons really actually work best for this project. If you don't have crayons, you could use a pencil. You could try with a marker. Pencil would probably be better, but crayons are really your best. Paper, you can use scrap paper, good on one side, and any objects that you can find. And I'll meet you back in the next video. Bye.